RocSports. I'm back with another video. As you can tell by the title, this video is simply telling the truth about James Harden. So, we're going to get right into it. This is a video that I haven't put together, haven't wrote no bullet points down, nothing. It's just straight freestyling off the chest, the truth about James Harden, who's been pretty much the hottest topic in the Eastern Conference today. I think it's only downhill from here, man. We're about to get right into it, though. Let's get right into it. People acting like they surprised from the standpoint about James Harden not performing in the playoffs. What I'm more surprised about is him not performing towards the end of the season into the playoffs. Pretty much this whole season, you can argue, into the playoffs. So, I don't know what's wrong with dude, man. Like, his career looks like it's just going to be on the downslide from here on out. Until he retires, just like he going to get worse and worse and worse. The numbers going to keep declining, that efficiency going to keep declining, and his interest going to keep declining. And his weight going to keep increasing. James Harden is just a guy now. If we being honest, man, like this whole season, people wanted to make the excuse for him by saying, you know, it was because of who he was playing with, meaning KD, sometimes Kyrie, everybody else on the Brooklyn Nets. Cool, true to a certain extent. But it was moments in those games, especially when Kyrie was out, when that second guy needed to be there for KD. It was supposed to be James Harden. If you watched him all season long, yes, he can play make. But if you watch him all season long, he's not as quick as he used to be. He just seemed like he's so slow now. He just seemed like he's hurt, like he's playing hurt. His interest, James Harden, when he was in Houston, he used to be so fired up consistently. I seen him do it a few times in the playoffs, but I felt like he was a totally different player emotionally wise, like when he was in Houston. Now I just feel like he goes through the motions. He's content for whatever reason. I really felt like if Harden would have showed up, he didn't have to be Houston James Harden, but if he was something of that sort, still can do that, but he didn't have to do it to that amount. But if he could still play like that with this Embiid, with the way Embiid played this whole year, are you kidding me? Come on, man. Who really would have stopped him in the East? And again, if he was that guy, they would have been able to hold weight while Embiid was out, at least one of those games. Yes, Miami had a few lapses too, injuries, and a few lapses in terms of things that was out of the ordinary for their team too. But should have been a much better series, man. Should have been a much better performance consistently from James Harden. He's not the same player no more. He's making $44 million this year, and he's eligible for a max this summer, and that's the interest that he put out, or showed. That's the effort that he put out. Sometimes he wasn't aggressive, in terms of the FGAs, and then other times when he was aggressive, he just wasn't even efficient, man. He's not that guy. He's not that guy, and I'm talking the regular season too. He had his moments, but one thing that somebody always say, what you hear a lot of people say all the time, just in general in sports, as you're aging, when you're a great player, you can have those moments. You hear Charles Barkley talk about this for NBA. You hear guys like Troy Aikman, Shannon Sharp talk about this for the NFL. Andre Ward talk about this for boxing. You can still have those performances when you're aging and you're a vet. When you got miles on that body, you can still have performances. If you're great, I'm saying, you can still have those performances that you used to have, just not at the same frequency that you used to have them. So yes, James Harden had some games when he looked like himself, when he had them 33-point triple-doubles and 40-point games, and but how many times did he do that? How many times? When he had plenty of opportunity to. He listened to his press conference yesterday after they lost. He said that he was passing the ball and he did get the ball back. Come on, man. You James Harden. like I've been hearing everybody say on TV all morning long, Houston James Harden going to get that ball. You see Joel Embiid, man. Like I say, Joel Embiid, what he has done this whole year. You want it out of Brooklyn. You want it out of Houston. You want it out of Brooklyn. You was in a great situation. You got Tyrese Maxey, who's an emerging star, rising star in this league. Joel Embiid, MVP. And what more do you need, man? What more do you need in terms of for motivation? Any of that? Like, what's really good with Harden? Again, you going into free agency eligible for a max contract. You playing with a dude that's in his prime, who's clearly wants a championship, who wants to win. You got a young killer on the rise. I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with James Harden. He like I say, I think it's only gonna get worse from here. He's 32. He looks like he's 38, and this is without even any major injuries to James Harden too. Anything major. Poor Joel Embiid. Poor Joel Embiid. The dude was out there playing with a orbital fracture, a ligament tear in his thumb, and a bad back. Meanwhile, James Harden just out here. Out here. It ain't right, man. It ain't right. If I was Philly, I would try to get him up out of here. Honestly. I would try to move him and Tobias Harris. Get whatever you can for them. But again, if you're the team on the other end, would you really trade for this? Because again, I think it's only going to be a decline from here. If I was Philly, I would try to go get somebody like a De'Aaron Fox or something, man. Try to go get rid of James Harden. Like I say, I try to really put something together to get that, but I mean to like come up with some trades, but I think it's only downhill from here, man. You look at James Harden, the whole history and playoff again, period, playoffs, period. But in elimination games, he's terrible, man. He's terrible. It doesn't matter who's on the other end of the court. Never forget the Spurs when Kawhi nor Tony Parker played. He was terrible, terrible. But any elimination game, you just go look at him. He hasn't been good. People wanted to sit up there and talk about James Harden being one of the best scorers of all time. I mean, the best scorer of all time. I feel like if you one of the best scorers of all time, how can you decline this much and you can't even score like that? You know what I mean? Like in terms of like if you late in your career, you should still be able to get buckets consistently. That's how I look at it. Look at Kobe. Look at Jordan. Look at even somebody like Jamal Crawford now, man. That's a bucket getter. James Harden is a bucket getter for sure, but the decline. He's aging and he's aging like milk. Look at the teammates. Like we got to start putting pressure on this dude. Like everybody want to put pressure on Russ, including me. Russell Westbrook get blamed for everything in terms of, we don't have to go down the list, but specifically, people bring up the teammates he had. Him and James Harden's in the same boat. They had a lot of the same teammates. So let's look at some of the teammates that he had. He played with Joel Embiid. He played with Serge Ibaka. He played with Dwight Howard. He played with KD, obviously. He played with Kyrie. He played with Westbrook. He played with Chris Paul. He played with Clint Capella. But you get what I'm saying, though. Like, come on, man. Like, what if Dame played with some of those players? Put Dame with Embiid this year. They probably would have came out the East. With the way Maxey playing too, don't even matter what Tobias Harris would have did at that point. But they got to move on from Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid. And James Harden, if they want to seriously do something. They got to stop lying to themselves. Philly fans, and I'm an Eagles fan again, so Philly fans, I feel for you during a moment like this. But y'all got to be real, man. This team ain't winning nothing with these two dudes on the roster. Y'all got to get rid of that. Y'all got to get rid of them. That's pretty much all I wanted to touch on with this video. I'm not surprised about James Harden, so I don't know why everybody else acting surprised. what's the saying? Somebody show you who they are multiple times or whatever, believe them. This dude has shown us on multiple stages this is who he is. He's not a big-time player. Like Jimmy Butler has shown us, come playoff time, regardless of what he go through or him not playing all of that during regular season, come playoff time, Jimmy gonna show up. 9 times out of 10, he's gonna show up. James Harden, he's not that guy. Believe him. Move on, Philly. Do the right thing. This is RocSports. I'm checking out. All of my boxing, NFL, and NBA fans, like, share, and subscribe, man. Keep coming back. I'm gonna be dropping more content.